Welcome to the A2 Show with Andrew Cass and Aaron Parkinson, bringing you the trends and topics that affect our lives the most: business, politics, fitness, family, and finance. With over 50 plus years of combined business experience and over $1 billion in revenue generated, your hosts have a unique gift for seeing many steps ahead where others do not. They bring their unfiltered, contrarian views to the show every week to help you win in business and in life.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the A2 Show. We're talking peak performance secrets today. Here's my caveat, Aaron, for the 40 plus. Now, does that mean you need to be over 40 to watch this episode of the A2 Show? Not necessarily. But there's some different strategies and ideas and philosophies we have as we've gotten older over the years that are a lot different than I think probably what we would do to perform and hit our stride that we did maybe in our 20s and 30s. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we do to stay sharp, stay fit, and I think the catch for today is how to age backwards. Is that a possibility, Aaron? Because you told me once that, a lot of people are saying, hey, you look like you haven't aged in 10, 15, 20 years. You have been bragging a little bit lately that people have been saying that to you. I think it's your hair. Your hair looks good. We also live in a tropical environment, so we're able to get some nice natural sunlight, which is big, I think. 12 months a year for us. So that's what we're going to talk about here today. We'll talk a little current events here in a second. But the topic of today is peak performance secrets. If you're 40 plus, male or female, doesn't matter. But I think it will absolutely matter, even if you're 25, 35, whatever.
Well, and I think that this is a great topic for any of our listeners, regardless of the age they are, because like you said, I've had a few people recently actually ask me, are you aging backwards? And I thought, what a weird question to ask me. I mean,
well, what a compliment.
I mean, it's a great compliment. I was caught a bit off guard by it, but then I actually looked at some pictures of myself from 15 years ago. And I thought to myself, you look like crap. When I was looking at the pictures.
Then or now?
No, then.
Really?
Yeah, I actually had a couple. I'd one in particular where my wife and I went to a Yankees game.
Yep.
And we had one from every bit of 15 years ago, and we had one from last year. Same picture, side by side, hanging out at a Yankees game. And I thought, I look 10 years older in the picture from 15 years ago.
Well, think about your lifestyle at that point. Were you eating terrible, not working out as well? You probably can figure out what was going on in that window, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point that I was about to make, which is it doesn't, yes, we're saying it's for people over 40. Yes, we can be specific around that. But I wish that I had known or implemented the things that I do now 15 to 20 years ago, because my lifestyle is very, very different from then. And let's talk about that. Why did I look like crap 15 years ago? Well, I can tell you very easily. And we'll talk about many of these items today. Number one, I probably worked out twice a week, maybe. I probably drank alcohol 4 nights a week. I used to smoke. I was probably smoking half a pack of cigarettes a day.
Really?
This
is what year?
This is like 2024 now, so this is like around 2010.
This is pretty much 15 years ago.
Yeah, about 15 years ago, and you and I knew each other quite well at that point, and we were doing a lot of business events, if you remember,
A lot of travel,
and because I would be drinking heavily at the ends of these events, because I always felt like, you gotta mingle with the people, right?
I remember.
I would stay up late. I wouldn't sleep well. I was bumbling into the airport the next day. I really be honest with myself and I look back, I was beating the crap out of my body back then. So the fact that I was 15 years younger could not outmatch the beating that I was putting on my body.
Well, yeah, at least you can pinpoint it. That helps.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when you look at America, which is now I think they're the most obese country in America.
Well, listen, that's a big topic of today is this chronic disease crisis. That's really our topic for today, which leads to solutions. So, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, America is a hot mess. And
a hot mess.
I had dinner
perfectly put, man, from somebody outside of America, a hot mess in all areas now.
It's a hot mess.
It's a hot mess.
And especially
but health for sure is our topic for today. So we're checking the fitness box, I guess you could say, today of our 5 pillars.
Absolutely. So I went for dinner on Friday night at my friend's house, who is a legit Italian. Like, I know your family's Italian.
Yep.
He still has like the heavy Italian accent. He goes every year for 3 months back to the homeland.
Sounds
and all
like The Sopranos, one of those guys.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not American Italian, like Italian,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
And so
authentic Italian, not New Jersey Italian.
Exactly. And he just laughs. He said, "Your food in America," he said, "the seed oils."
Oh yeah, he's right, man.
He said the produce, the pesticides.
He's right.
He said the portion sizes. He said the refined carbohydrates.
It's insane.
The gluten.
Yes.
You know, he said, "You guys eat like absolute garbage."
It's so
over
bad.
there. And it's so abnormal when you go to other places in the world.
Funny, Aaron, you bring up Italy. This is great information. I was in Italy last summer. I love it. You feel differently when you eat over there. Even when you eat heavier, which is interesting. So like the pasta there, I feel differently than if I eat the pasta here. The bread there just seems so natural. It doesn't have glyphosate and all kinds of weird fertilizers in it. But listen to this, Aaron. I don't know if you know this. Italy in 2023 became the first country in the world to ban genetically modified foods and fake meats. You know, the things that are not real foods.
Thank God.
The state of Florida, I like to say the United States of Florida because we're 3, 4, 5 years ahead of everybody else. We are the first state in America to ban genetically modified foods and fake lab meat.
Really?
Last month. Brand new information in 2024. Yep.
Good for them.
Yeah, we're running a whole different ball game here, right? Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. We're just focused on health. We're focused on well-being. Right? We're not allowing these creepy things to get into the classroom. We're not forcing experimental medicine on people. We're letting people make their own choices, right? And we're not letting the fake meats and the fake foods and the genetically modified industrial complexes to take over society in Florida. So, and we're also, you know, what also is happening with DeSantis' leadership in Florida, Aaron, is Chinese companies can't come in here and buy land to do farming. I don't know if you knew that.
Interesting.
Now, more states in America are finally adopting that. Regenerative farming is either the farming in the agricultural situation is going to make or break the food supply in America. A lot of people don't know this.
No question.
My problem with the two candidates running right now, we talk about politics a lot on the show, is Biden and Trump are not talking about this at all. RFK Jr., who we love and we've done a full show on. In fact, the last episode we did was dedicated to the debates and all of that. We won't get into that now. He's the candidate who his first priority is the chronic disease crisis in America. And that starts with the food source and the farming and the agriculture. And you have all these weird global elites trying to introduce fake foods, fake meats, all of it. By the way, Bill Gates is the largest investor in the fake, you know, the Beyond Meats, fake meats. Mm-hmm. They're all made with, like you said, the vegetable oils and canola oils and all kinds of toxic stuff. That's why he hates the meat industry, because he's a competitor to the meat industry right now, right? So if you follow the money in the industrial complexes, it all makes sense. These are business models, right? Forcing people into electric vehicles, that's a business model, right? Forcing people to eat fake meat, that's a business model. Forcing a vaccine that isn't even tested on people, that's a business model, right? At this point, you've got to know these things, and we talk about them quite a bit on this show. But when it comes to chronic disease in the food supply, like you mentioned, it's really good to see countries and states, in America, states operate like countries, taking a damn stance and saying we're not going to pollute our people any longer, especially our kids. It's crazy, the refined foods and, like you said, the sugars and the carbohydrates, but the farming, the glyphosate, the chemicals, what RFK calls the forever chemicals. That's the toxic soup hot mess you talked about, Aaron, is we're living in this sea of chemicals from the air in our homes to the food to the air we breathe. I mean, Aaron, I looked up at my sky. I don't know if this is a thing in Cayman Islands where you are. I know that's a whole different world down there. But I look up at my sky, it's like a war zone. You know what these chemtrails are, right? Yeah. When you see these clouds crisscrossing back and forth, the truly naive people in this world actually think that's the smoke from the airplanes, which, by the way, the trails on airplanes are like 100 feet, not 2 miles.
Right.
The sky's crisscrossed. They're spraying the skies, man. I mean, they're trying to play God with everything. It's crazy. And that is, they're spraying chemicals and they're spraying compounds, and a lot of it's metals. There's multiple documentaries on this that is damaging our food supply. Number one. So they're trying to like play God and block the sun with all their weird climate stuff. And they're trying to play God. And what it's doing is it's having such a cascading compound effect on humanity. It's incredible. And you look at the data and you go, why are we so sick? Look at the sky, look at the air, look at the food. I mean, it's crazy.